What's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. About a week ago, I made a heart-shaped rose wreath video, and first of all, I want to say thank you so much for all the comments, all the shares, all the subscribers, all the viewers, but I wanted to make another video with very few edits that will hopefully answer some of the questions I've seen in my other video. I do want to point out that I used a different type of mesh in this video that seemed a little more stiff than the pink mesh I used for the other video. I'm not sure if it was just the brand or the foil in the red mesh, but you can see the slight difference it makes. So although the red mesh was so pretty, I might not use it again for this project. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is cut up my entire roll in 10-inch pieces. So I'm just going to start at 12 and then cut at 2. That's 10 inches right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this entire roll, and I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, the first thing that I did was attach my plastic canvas to the metal frame, and I just used 4 zip ties on each side, so it's nice and secure, and it's not pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty. So I'm just going to come in here and clip these off. So now for the first petal, for the center petal, grab a piece of mesh. Make sure it's facing this way up. See how it wants to curl up? Lay it flat. Lay it flat. Fold it diagonally. Okay. And then now I'm just going to take this piece. I'm going to fold it over just like that. Then now I'm going to go right here in the center and just roll. Roll, roll, then boom. And then I'm going to take this piece and just lay it flat like that. Now usually I would have my zip tie already prepped. I'm just going to take a clip, hold it in place, and I'm going to get a zip tie, and I'm going to go right smack dab right in the middle. So I'm going to go down. Hopefully you can see that. Go all the way down, and then I'm just going to go right up through the center right here. Okay. I'm going to take my center petal and I'm just going to lie it down. Take the zip tie. Make sure this part is in there as well, so that way it does not unravel. Pull it tight. And cut. All right, so what I like to do right here, I'm going to take this extra piece or this excess mesh, and I'm just going to cut. All right, so now we got our first petal. So next, I'm going to take 2 petals. Well, first, I'm going to prep my zip ties, and this is what I like to do to determine where I'm going to place my next petals. So I'm going to look where this first zip tie was, okay? It was right smack dab in the middle. And I'm just going to count 5 squares out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on this row right here. 5 squares out from where the first zip tie was. All right, so my next 2 petals, I want one right at the top and right at the bottom. So I want my petal somewhere like right here in the middle is fine. So I'm going to work in this row right here, which is 5 squares from that first zip tie, and I'm just going to come in then I'm going to take my zip tie, and on the same row, it's hard to hold that piece down, and then come right back up in that same row. All right, these zip ties are a little fat, so it's a little difficult getting them in and out of the squares. All right, so I'm going to take another zip tie. All right, so here's the row that I'm working on, and I'm just going to follow this down. Doop, doop, doop. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to push this zip tie through the top right here on the side of this excess mesh. I'm going to push it down. And since this is in the way, I'm just going to come back up right on the other side. Okay, so I got my zip ties prepped. I'm going to take another piece of mesh. All right, lay it flat. Fold it diagonally. All right, so I'm going to come in about 2.5 inches from this bottom. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to pinch, 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 okay? Then I'm just going to lay my petal this way where the bottom part is facing outwards, and I'm going to zip it. And zip. All right, same thing with the bottom. Take your petal or your mesh. This one's a little funky. Fold it. All right, 2.5 inches out and pinch. Okay. And then just lay it. And zip. All right, so here's the fun part. So now I'm going to take my centerpiece and kind of line it up. And now I'm just going to wrap it around. Like that. I'm going to take this piece and kind of wrap it this way. And if you need to, you can grab your clips and kind of hold it in place. This is probably the trickiest part right here, is getting the first couple initial petals. So I'm just going to wrap it. And sometimes it does take a minute for me. Sometimes I have to take it out and start it over, redo it. And that's okay. Okay. All right, so I think I like this right here. I like it just like that. Let's kind of come down just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to start gluing the edges down. So I'm going to start right in here. And I completely forgot I had blue glitter hot glue in here, so we have a little bit of blue hot glue. Hopefully it won't be visible, but if it does, that's okay. All right. Alright, so I'm going to just keep gluing these edges down. This is the edge. This is what I'm referring to as the edge, the edges. I'm going to glue these edges down. Alright, so I'm going to glue this one just right here at the bottom. Now I'm going to figure out where I want to put my next petals. And we're going to do 3 this time instead of the 2. I try to look and see what side looks the most bare, if that makes sense. So looking at it, I think this side right here, it kind of looks a little bare. So we have some petals right here or some looping, and it kind of looks a little bare right here. So I want a petal right here. And then I'm going to try and equally spread them out. So I'm going to do 3. I want one right here. And then I might do like a triangle formation and put one right here, here, and here. Okay. So I'm going to get my zip tie. I'm going to prep my zip ties. So my first petal I want right here. And what I'll do is I'll locate where that last zip tie was. Okay, here it is, right here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try my best. All right, so, and then I'm just going to count 5 squares out from that zip tie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm working on this row right here, and I'm just going to go over like that because I want my petal right here in the middle. So I'm going to move my zip tie over just a little bit and push it down, and then I'm just going to come right back up a couple squares away on that same row. Okay, let me get my next zip tie. All right, so we're going to do a triangle formation. So other petal maybe right here, okay? And I'm just going to work on that same row. I'm just going to follow it down right until about right here. Come right back up on the same row. Would be easier if you had maybe smaller zip ties. All right, and then I'm going to put one right over on this side. So I'm just going to follow this row down. Okay, and I'm going to push that through right there. And come right back up a couple squares away on that same row, okay? All right, so I'm going to take my mesh, fold it, and I'm going to lay it down just like that. Zip it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the other 2 petals in the zip tie, and I will pause the video and come right back. Okay, so I went ahead and put my petals into the zip ties. That's all I did. And then I cut that excess zip tie off. And now we're gonna do the same thing and just kind of wrap it right around the center part. And I like to take these edge pieces and just kind of pull it close to the bottom like that. Then I'm just going to just kind of play around with it. And there's no right way or wrong way, just whatever looks good to you. Sometimes I mess up, sometimes I have to redo it. So just continue to wrap. It starts to get a little easier once you have more petals around. So I'm just gonna keep wrapping it. And then I'm gonna use this clip and kind of hold this in place. All right, so I like how that looks. And I'm gonna start gluing stuff down. Try to glue down at the bottom where it won't be visible. And of course, I'm using this. There was some leftover blue glitter hot glue from a project I did with my kids, but that's okay. That's okay. It gives it a little personality. All right, so I'm just gonna go around and glue these bottom pieces. Okay, now that my glue has dried, I am going to put on the next group of petals around the center. So I'm gonna grab my zip tie. All right, so here's that last zip tie. And actually, I'm not gonna go out 5 squares because I wanna put at least 2 more rows or 2 more groups. I want to put 2 more groups of petals on this plastic mesh, or excuse me, this plastic canvas. So let's see. Here's that last zip tie from the last group of petals. And I'm going to go out about 1, 2, 3 squares out. Okay. And then I'm just going to follow this row right here because I want my petal right here in the middle, right here. All right, so I'm just going to put a zip tie through and then go a couple squares over, come right back up in the same row. Okay. And actually, I think I'm going to do 4 petals. We're going to do 4 petals around this centerpiece. So first group we did 2. The second group we did 3 petals, and then now we're going to do 4 petals. And same thing, we're going to try and space them out. So if I have one right here, I'm going to go diagonally. I'm going to go right across, and that's where I want my next petal. So I'm going to put one right here. I'll have one right here, kind of in a square formation. So if the first petal is going to be right here, I want one right here. So I'm just going to follow this row down. And that's a good place to put my zip tie. I'm going to stick it through. Come right back up. All right, prep my other 2. I'm gonna go right here. I'm just gonna follow this. And it doesn't have to be exactly, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be on the same row. If you accidentally get one in, you know, right here on a different row, that's perfectly fine. Okay. And my last one, I'm going to put right here. So they're pretty equally spaced out. So I'm just going to follow this row. I'm going to put it right here. All right, so that looks good to me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make my petals and just put it right in these zip ties and then cut off the excess zip tie. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I got all my petals in the zip tie. Forgot to cut these. Okay, so now all we have to do is wrap, do your wrapping. Wrap around the center. Sometimes I like to overlap one with the other. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes it looks funky. So just wrap it, adjust it, just play with it, you know. Roses aren't perfect. So I'm gonna just kind of hold this in place with my clip. I'm just gonna keep wrapping around. I'm gonna hold these two in place. Just kind of look at it and see if I like it. Okay, yep, that looks good. I like it. All right, so I'm gonna start with this piece and just glue it down. Okay, so now that my glue has dried, okay, so I'm gonna put my last group of petals on there. All right, so I'm gonna find, okay, here's my last row. Here's the zip tie. And let's see, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares left on this canvas. And I think I'm gonna go, let's see, 3 squares out. 1, 2, 3. So that way we're not on the very edge of this plastic canvas. All right, so I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna determine where I want my next petal. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here. You see this side looks pretty full. It looks full right here, it looks full right here, but it doesn't look that full right here. So I'm gonna put a petal right here. So I'm just gonna go, let's see, about 3 squares from the edge of the canvas. So 1, 2, 3, which is almost on this bar right here. It actually is on that bar. All right, so I'm just gonna stick that through. And I'm gonna come right back up, a couple squares over. And this last group, I'm going to use just 4. I'm going to use 4. another group of 4 around the center part. So I'm going to try and space them out equally. So one's right here. I'll put one right here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 3 squares in. Couple squares over and then right back up. All right, so 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Okay, then I'm going to take my mesh, fold it, pinch it, and place it. Fold it, pinch it, place it. Okay, now that I have my petals, I'm going to start wrapping. All right, so I like that right there. I'll take the clip and just kind of hold these together. Just kind of go around like that. I'm gonna start gluing. Okay, so now that I have everything glued down and I've ran out of room on this plastic canvas. So this is the back side of it. So you can see the very center petal right here. And then my first group was the 2 petals. And then here you can see the 3 petals. Then we have the 4 petals and then the 4 petals on the last group. And then as you can see, hopefully you can see it okay. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares out from the center. And then the second group is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares out. And then the third group is about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 squares from this zip tie. And then the last group is about 1, 2, 3 squares from the very edge of the plastic canvas. All right, so now that we've run out of room, we're gonna start working on the metal frame. And since I had about 3, 4 pieces of petals left on the pink rose that I did, I'm gonna start on this inner ring right here, okay? So I have a total of 35 pieces of mesh. And this is actually what was left over I couldn't do anything with this. So I have 35 pieces of 10-inch mesh. Okay, so I am going to put two. I'm going to put two right here, 1, 2, right in the middle of these two little bars right here. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to go over and put 1, 2 right here on this inner ring right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and prep my zip ties. I'm going to go ahead and do that right there. So now that we are working on the metal frame, this is when we start forming the shape of the heart. Okay, so I'm going to take the mesh and create my petal. And now I'm going to move that out the way. So I want to try and put 2 petals close to this little crossbar right here, or this little bar, crossbar, bar, I'm not sure what it's called. All right, and I'm just going to stick it right in through the zip tie. And I don't really like to put it right here on the bar just yet, just in case if I need to scooch this over or move it over or adjust it. Now I'm going to take another one. And then just stick it right through. I'm going to stick it right through the zip tie, and then I'm going to kind of move it. I'm going to move it right here next to this. Oh, it's a little difficult to see. But I'm going to move it. I'm going to try and tighten it right here, right next to this bar right here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it in. And it is a little difficult getting everything to cooperate. Okay. All right, so I got that piece in. It looks a little funky. That's all right. Now the same thing for this side. Okay, so now we're going to start forming the shape of the heart. So I'm going to start pulling this top one. I'm going to start kind of pulling it down this way. And this petal is just going to be, I'm going to pull it down just like this. Probably glue it It's right here, right at the top, right here. Same thing for this side. I'm going to start just kind of folding it in. I'm pulling this one and pull this one down. What I'm going to do, these two bottom pieces right here, or lower pieces, I'm going to put a clip right here just to hold them down in place. So see, these two petals right here, I just clip them together just to hold them in place. And now I'm just gonna wrap it around. Okay, so look how that looks right here. All right, and then this is bottom piece. I'm going to wrap this one a little tighter like that. And I'm going to wrap this. Put my clip right here. All right. Okay, so like that. It's not really a heart shape just yet. Still kind of circular, and that's okay. That is okay. All right, so now I'm going to start gluing. Take this one first. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the center ring right here, the center ring of the frame, the metal frame. All right, so now I'm going to put two petals in this section right here, 1 and 2. I'm going to go over and put 2 right here on the other side, and then I'm going to put 2 petals right in this section right here. Let me move all that out the way, right here. And then the same on the other side. So 2, 4, 6, and 8 petals. All right, so now I'm going to take my petal and I'm going to stick it through the zip tie, but I'm going to stick it in on this side of the ring. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm just going to stick it right here. Okay. So this is where I want my petal, because now we're going to start forming the heart. So we're going to start making that little bubble shape of the heart, just like that, okay? Move that one out the way. I'm going to come in, same side, right on the inside, right through the zip tie. And again, you can cut the excess off. If it's getting in your way or if it's annoying you, you can go ahead and cut those off. So I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm working in this section between these two bars right here. It's kind of hard to see. All right, so now I'm going to go over and do the same thing on this side. And I'm working on the middle ring. I'm going to put two in this section, and then 2 in this section right here. Okay, so now looks pretty crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the top 2 pieces up here. And now we're really going to start forming the heart shape. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Okay. So now these 2 edge pieces, I'm going to kind of put them together like this, and I'm going to glue them down just like that. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but now it's starting to get that dip right here in the center. So now it's starting to take that heart shape. So I'm not going to glue just yet. I'm going to clip these 2 pieces. I'm going to clip them to this petal right here. Petal is glued down already. So now I'm just going to continue to shape I'm actually going to put this one right in front of this petal to give it a little more poof right here. So now I'm just going to wrap these around. And I know it might look a little crazy and a little difficult right now with all these petals being on there. But what you can do is you can start off by doing one side first and then adjust it, wrap it around, glue it down, and then come over to this side and put your petals in and start adjusting and wrapping it around. And just take your time. Take your time. Just experiment, play around with it, see how you like it. No, I think that I'm gonna, okay, so I like this on this side, like this, okay? I like how it looks like this. I'm gonna start gluing all of this down right here. I'm gonna start gluing these down. Okay, use my clip, and then now I'm going to take these two pieces and wrap them around like that, because this is how we're going to make that heart shape. Okay, so I'm going to glue that, be very generous with the glue. And I'm going to hold that down. I'm going to push it down, just like that. And I'm going to take a cut. I'm just going to put a clip right here, right in the middle where this glue is drying. Give it a little time to dry. So now I'm just going to start adjusting more. So now I'm going to take this petal and I'm going to wrap it right around this petal right here where we just glued. All right, so now this is adding on to that little bubble part of the heart. And I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to clip it right here if I can. Need some bigger clips. I'll clip it from the bottom, maybe. Now I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Tuck that down, and I'm going to use this piece. I'm going to come right up here. and start gluing this piece down. And then with these extra pieces, I'm just going to try to fit them in wherever they can go. I'm going to fit them in. I'm just going to glue it right on. Glue it right on. I'm going to wait till that dries. So now I'm going to work on this last ring right here. And I'm going to put 2 in this section right here between the 2 bars right here. I'm going to put 2 right here, 2 right here, 1 at the very bottom right here, 2 right here and 2 right at the top. All right, so now we're going to start adding on to that top part of the heart. And I like how you can move this if you want to. If you want to bring it down a little bit more, you can. I'm going to put it right there. And then this one is going to go right on top of it, just like that. Or let me see how it looks going this way. Okay, so I think I like the other way better. I like it going this way, and then this petal, I'm gonna scooch it a little so they're kind of close to each other, because we need to bring out that roundness in that heart. All right. I'm going to move these down just a little bit, just like that. All right. All right, so I like it like this. And now I'm going to start gluing these 2 pieces down. I haven't glued these down yet because I want to see how it's going to look when I add the next two petals on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the last three, one right here and then two in this section right here, right on the other side. So what I did with the pink rose in my other video, I just kind of overlap them. So you can see this petal is inside of this petal. This on this end, I'm going to have it on the outside, and then I'm going to have this end on the inside, and this keep going just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to wrap this around. This is going to go on the inside part. So they're kind of overlapping. All right. And then this bottom piece right here, we're going to end up gluing it just like that. I'm going to glue both sides down. I'm going to leave this little last piece out right here because that's going to be the last thing I glue. So now I'm just going to finish the shape of the heart. And I'm just going to take each corner and wrap it right around on the sides right here. Just like that. And hopefully this will cooperate. So I'm going to glue this side right here. And this is going to start kind of pushing these petals closer in, kind of pushing them up as well. Here is how crazy it looks on the back side. And in total, I used 35 pieces of mesh, 10-inch pieces of mesh. Used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces on this plastic canvas, 21 pieces on the metal frame. And then I just like to go back and kind of fluff some of these petals out. And now I'm just going to take a Chanel stem. You can use pipe cleaner, string, whatever you want. And I am just going to attach a piece right here on the inner ring. I'm going to twist it on this side, and then I'm just going to bend this and do the same exact thing on this side. And here is how I'm going to hang it.